Welcome to an overview of the Nisqually Watershed Stewardship Plan. The Nisqually River supports steelhead and extensive salmon runs, timber and agriculture, hydropower generation, and recreation. The Nisqually is also home to several threatened and endangered species and is recognized as a river of statewide significance. Preserving this beautiful river has been the deliberate focus of citizen and government efforts over the past 20 years. The Nisqually Watershed Stewardship Plan, a plan that integrates the community, the economy, and the environment, lays out a 50-year roadmap for the sustainable future of the watershed. This presentation was developed to introduce you to key elements of the Stewardship Plan and to engage you in its development. We begin by describing the physical area that is the focus of this plan, and then the governing structure in place to develop and direct the implementation details. Vision and goals are the principle on which the plan was developed, and action elements are the specifics to be completed over a 50-year time frame. Finally, we describe the programs and tools we have to help us carry out our stewardship plan. The Nisqually River Management Area covers the 78-mile waterway, the only watershed in the United States with its headwaters enclosed by a national park and its delta protected by a national wildlife refuge. The Nisqually River provides over one-half of the freshwater flow entering South Puget Sound, and it remains one of the least degraded of the major Puget Sound rivers. The Nisqually River Council coordinates implementation of this stewardship plan and represents Nisqually River interests. The Council has a permanently established executive committee and 4 advisory committees laid out as you see here. Nonprofit groups also support the River Council efforts. The Citizens Advisory Committee is the place where the individuals interested in their watershed and wanting to be part of its management can come to participate in the Nisqually River Council. There are 3 additional advisory committees: Economy, Community, and Environment. Their purpose is to represent commercial businesses, community service, and environmental organizations working within the watershed. The Nisqually River Stewardship Plan is based on a vision of land, water, and people. We live in a watershed where we value vibrant communities, a healthy natural environment, and a prosperous, innovative economy. People are drawn to our rural landscape for its clear water, fish and wildlife, its mountains, forests, and prairies. As stewards of our land and water, we value our working farms and forests, which protect our natural, cultural, and scenic heritage. These are the ultimate goals or outcomes of the Nisqually Stewardship Plan. We will describe each of these in more detail. The natural resources of the Nisqually watershed, its forests, the fish and wildlife, the water and agriculture lands, are the basis within which our community and economy must fit. The natural resources of the watershed are finite and can be easily spoiled. While we are fortunate to live, work, and play in one of the most pristine watersheds left in Puget Sound, looming pressures cause us to make a redoubled effort if we want to be able to make the same statement 2 decades from now. It is the community that makes the choices that impact the economy and the environment. It's the members of the community that individually and collectively decide what the watershed will look like in 2 decades. By helping to ensure access to excellent education, health care, employment, and the arts, the community grows together and is empowered to make healthy decisions for the economy, the environment, and for itself. A healthy local economy is an important part of a sustainable Nisqually watershed. The focus of jobs in the Nisqually, like many rural areas, is in flux between the traditional resource extraction industries and a new economy. To make sure that this transition results in a healthy, vital economy, our watershed community should support industries that can operate in a sustainable manner. Individual decisions, both big and little, will decide if we become a sustainable watershed. The development of a stewardship ethic in the individuals of the watershed can influence those decisions. Stewardship can be instilled through educational efforts and incentives. The actions in these next sections were developed to achieve the long-term vision of a sustainable watershed and to build a model for stewardship and harmonious living. They are organized into categories, or pathways to sustainability, as we call them. We will now describe these pathways and their elements that speak to the plan's overall goals. The goal is to have a healthy, functioning community that makes decisions that have a positive impact on watershed sustainability. It's also the aim to create a watershed community that transcends the civic boundaries of towns, cities, and counties into a single community from the glacier to the sound. Often it's the species of economic importance that gets the most attention, whether it's the geoduck or the Douglas fir or the salmon. However, they make up only a small portion of the total system, and it's important that all native communities and species be maintained and restored. In this plan, biological diversity includes these three action areas. Aquatic management includes non-commercial species of fish and shellfish and aquatic plants and habitat. The goal here is to restore natural watershed processes and functions that support healthy aquatic life. We hope to ensure that healthy native populations of all aquatic species exist, and we expect that a program for invasive species management has been developed. The Nisqually Watershed has 7 ecoregions ranging from the permanent ice and snow of Mount Rainier to the Douglas fir of the Puget Sound lowlands. Already, changes in these terrestrial plant habitats have put some plants in jeopardy and allowed other non-native species to invade. The stewardship plan will ensure that there is a viable amount of each of the ecoregions that fall in the watershed. All threatened and endangered species, plants in the watershed are fully restored, and all invasive plants have been removed. Healthy populations of diverse wildlife species are a key indicator of ecosystem health. Hunting is an important cultural and economic element of wildlife management, and observing wildlife is also of great economic importance. Our long-term goal is to see restoration of endangered and threatened species, harvestable populations of all native Nisqually game and non-game animals, and adequate access to hunting lands. Tourism will continue to be a mainstay of visits to the watershed, with Mount Rainier being the anchor that has brought many people to the area. In 50 years, we see a cultural heritage tourism model in place, providing year-round activities based on cultural and natural resources of the region. We also see a glacier-to-sound Nisqually River trail system with voluntary participation by landowners that recreates the historic tribal trading route. Many people experience the Nisqually watershed through their car as they are headed somewhere, down I-5 or up to the mountain. It's important to maintain the scenic vistas that make this such a beautiful watershed to travel through. The scenic vistas need to be identified, threats quantified, and voluntary protections put into place. We also recognize that driving through unattractive areas to get to the gem decreases the entire experience. We will seek to keep the area clean through education and agreements for cleanup. A healthy, vibrant economy that is built on sustainable industries is critical to the success of this plan and the Nisqually watershed as a whole, but we have a lot to do. The traditional and natural resource-based industries of the watershed are broken out in subsequent slides, each with specific goals. The heart of the sustainable economy in the Nisqually watershed will be attracting green business and industry to serve as economic drivers. Sustainable business concepts can include energy efficiency, waste reduction, local manufacture and use, greenhouses, native plant nurseries, and reusable materials. New and existing industries enhance the sustainability of the watershed. Agriculture is increasingly coming under threat from development and market pressures. The stewardship plan will ensure that there will be no net loss of farmlands from a 2005 baseline of productivity. A balance will have been achieved between incentives and regulations so that they work together to promote sustainability and economic vitality. The connection between urban and rural has been strengthened through a knowledge of farming and its needs. Through the efforts guided by this plan, we expect to have a productive forest land base that is at the current size or larger. That there is regulated and enforced programs of sustainable harvest of timber and non-timber products, and that 99% of the lands are in a certification program. The primary threat to shellfish harvest, tribal, recreational, and commercial, is the degradation of water quality. Therefore, the water goal is closely linked to this goal, and improving and maintaining water quality will serve to meet both. We expect healthy and abundant shellfish stocks that are safe to eat, and no shellfish beds are restricted because of contaminated water. Fisheries are an integral part of the history and culture of the Nisqually Watershed, and they also serve as an indicator of its overall health. Through this plan, we will see that all natural salmon and trout populations have been restored to levels that support an abundant harvest. Warm water fisheries compatible with healthy populations of native fish have been established, and all natural populations are self-sustaining. Moving now from sustainable economy, water is the sustainer and purifier of the Nisqually. Our long-term goal is clean water in quantities that support the needs of the population without impacting the habitat. The Nisqually River Council is developing programs that will assist us in implementing the stewardship plan. Low-impact development guidelines have been developed, and the River Council is working with the counties to enable ordinances for the streamlined implementation of low-impact development projects. The Council will facilitate voluntary certification of sustainable practices through independent organizations. This will be developed into a Nisqually label recognizable as a local and regional marketing tool. Every 3 years, the Council will produce a snapshot of the watershed and a measure of its health. This report card will show the key indicators of watershed health on a continuing basis. Education and interpretation will continue to be a major component of the Nisqually River Council's efforts, particularly integration of sustainability into education coordination. Let us highlight some of the programs already in place. The Nisqually Stream Stewards teaches volunteers and landowners how to assess stream health, evaluate salmon habitat potential, gather data about their local creeks, and identify places in the watershed where projects could improve the river system. The Nisqually Land Trust protects and restores critical wildlife habitat in the river basin by acquiring title, easements, and other property rights from willing sellers. The Nisqually River Education Project provides field-based environmental science education for students throughout the Nisqually River area. The planned Nisqually River Interpretive Center will tell the story of the Nisqually from mountain to sea to children and adults locally, around the state, region, and even internationally. The Nisqually River, from its glacial origin to its delta in South Puget Sound, is the hearth of myth, ecodiversity, history, beauty, and freshwater. 2 decades of preserving and restoring the Nisqually watershed can be easily reversed without a plan that integrates the community, the economy, and the environment. This is such a plan. It is a community-based plan intended to connect those who live in Elby and Ashford with those who live in Yelm and Eatonville in such a way everyone understands that while they live in different towns, they are part of the same community. It is in the Nisqually River that such an integrated whole watershed community should be born.